Hello and welcome back to Everywoman. Now, a staggering 800 million of the world's adults are illiterate. That's nearly 1 in 4 of the global population. And those with least access to education, women, are the worst affected. Last week, UNESCO hosted a conference here in Doha to address the problem in the Middle East, where 66% of those who can't read or write are women. Well, one organisation that took part is Reach Out to Asia. It was founded by the daughter of the Emir of Qatar, Her Excellency Sheikha Al Mayassa bint Hamad Al-Thani. Thank you very much for joining us here on Everywoman. Can I ask you first of all, Reach Out to Asia works throughout the Middle East and Asia promoting literacy. Why the focus on literacy?
Well, we actually focus on education for all, which is interdependent with literacy. And the idea came since my mother, Her Highness Sheikha Al Mayassa, was special envoy for the UNESCO on education. So we wanted to be more effective within the region. As you know, Asia is a very big continent, and we think that a lot of the violence and political instability is due to a lack of education and quality education. So we focus mainly on literacy and making sure that children from the age of 0 until 18 are able to read and write.
You're very passionate about the subject. Do you see education as the way forward for some of the world's poorest people?
I think, education is the cornerstone for a healthy society. If you're to have, people who could think critically and analytically and take decisions of their country rather than be dictated by others, it's important for them to be able to think, and in order for them to think, they need to read and write, and they need to know, what's going on around the world. So for me, education is like, you can't do anything without an education. And I'm not saying that there's a universal education or there's a, one-size-fits-all solution. I think that every society and community has its own criteria and needs.
I know that, as you say, you were in Pakistan following that earthquake, and you've witnessed at first hand some of the devastation that's occurred, and you were instrumental in getting volunteers from Doha out to Pakistan to help with the rebuilding. I mean, it must be hard work, but you clearly believe very strongly in it.
I think, it's a two-way situation. The volunteers, you can't force volunteers to go. I must say, I very much admired the volunteers who went to Pakistan, the young boys and girls. They showed leadership skills, and they were not afraid, to interact and try new experiences. They were very, comfortable in the environment, although they were living in areas, where there was not much there, actually. For me, I see the volunteers as the leaders of our society, the leaders of the future. So actually, Reach Out to Asia focuses a lot on the volunteer programs.
You yourself come from a very educated, very privileged, very wealthy background. Is that part of the reason why you wanted to do something like this?
I strongly believe that it's not just about where you come from. There's a lot of wealthy people who don't do much for others, and I think it's more of the culture that we live in. We're in a culture where we are brought up to give and care for others. Our religion also tells us to care for others, and I think my parents were very conscious of our privileges, and they were very conscious of making us know that there's others who need help.
And the momentum is continuing forward. We've had this conference from UNESCO. How important is that to have a global commitment to improving education and literacy amongst the poorest people of the world?
I think it's very important, and this, the Director General is actually on our board, and we talk to him quite a lot. And he's been very much determined to reach the 2015 goals, and literacy is a big thing. And one of the agendas at the Qatar Foundation is to how do you protect education through zones of conflict, zones of war. Because one of the things that is closest to our hearts is what do you do with children who their country has gone to war and they have no decision to take, and then they can't go to school because their parents are either scared that there's going to be a bomb on the street, or that the child might not come home, he's been kidnapped, or whatever other reason. So how can we protect children who go through conflict? Because one of the things, for example, in Pakistan that we found is that after the earthquake, their parents were encouraging students to go to school because it was a way to overcome their trauma, their psychological trauma, to see, people dying in front of their, these kids were very young, and so I think it's very important what the UNESCO is doing.
And I know that you've just got married recently and maybe looking forward to having children of your own. Will you continue your commitment to this work?
Yes, I mean, Rota is one of the works I do. I do a lot of other things, so I plan to be a working mother. I would probably take a few months off naturally after having the child, but I would, still work from the home and go back to the office.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for joining us here, and everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you.
And good luck with future activities with Rota.
Thank you.
In Denmark, after years of co-education and boys and girls being brought up side by side, things are starting to change. Girls now have access to girls-only clubs, private clubs where they can discuss problems in confidence and get advice from their peers. But where does that leave teenage boys? Everywoman went to find out in the small town of Frederica.
Ja, der sgu næsten ingen forældre her i Fredericia, som har kontrol over deres børn, altså.
Da man var lille, der legede man, altså der lå man og rodede rundt med noget Lego, eller hvad man nu gjorde. Eller gik rundt og smadrede et vindue eller sådan noget. Og nu, drikker man.
Man er født og opvokset.
Ja. Præcis. Vores stammer, de tilhører Fredericia.
Altså fjolserne, de er sjove, de er søde, og de er skide fine at være sammen med.
Og vi har
og det samme tænker de om mig, det ved jeg.
Og vi har de samme interesser, og ja. vi...
Det er vel lort.
Jeg ved det ikke.
Altså for helvede, vi kan ikke tåle at tage gas på hinanden, og det er fedt at være i selskab med hinanden. Det kan vi godt lide.
Ja.
Nej.
Jo. Altså, vi er jo brødre hele bundet, jo.
Altså, mine venner, de er i mit hjerte, og min familie, de er i mit blod. Så de er jo også i mit hjerte, selvfølgelig.
Sådan som jeg mener, det er sådan, at altså, mange piger, de er sådan rimelig stille og rolige, altså sådan ned på jorden, mens drenge, de er bare sådan vilde bavianer, altså.
Parkour, det er en sport, som faktisk handler om at flygte fra politiet.
Altså,
det gør det så ikke, nej.
Altså, det handler om at flygte, man skal hoppe over alle mulige forhindringer, og så hvis man for eksempel kommer løbende her, så hoppe op på den der, så hoppe over pusken. Eller hoppe op der, og så kravle op ad tagrenden og så...
Jeg tror, jeg har fattet meningen med det.
Jeg kan ikke lide at sådan, lave kriminalitet i den. Jeg kan ikke lide at skal ødelægge ting, og sådan, at man kan få problemer ud af det. Det kan jeg ikke lide, men jeg kan godt lide, sådan at man ens puls, den pumper. Jeg ved ikke, hvordan man altså... Jeg kan godt lide, at man er helt spændt. Sådan.
Er der nogen af jer, der har været til?
Ja, ham.
Altså, det har vi nok alle sammen på et eller andet tidspunkt. Man har nok tit også sagt det, hvor man ikke har været det. Men det er jo så den måde, drengene de gør. Altså...
Og det går bare at blive psykolog, mand.
Hvad? Det er da sådan. Det gør du da også. Du siger, hvis der er en, der spørger, siger til dig, at de sådan, har noget kørende, som I går. Og hun siger til dig, at hun er forelsket i dig, ikke? Og du godt kunne tænke dig, og sådan. Og så siger du da, jeg var forelsket i dig, ikke? Fordi så er du da sikker på, at den aften er derhjemme.
Ja, den arm der.
Nå. Det er da rigtigt.
Har du en kæreste?
Nej, ikke lige nu. Jeg skal lige nyde singelliv lidt.
Har du haft en kæreste? Eller?
Ja, det tror jeg nok. Ja, altså selvfølgelig har man da det, altså. Hvad er det for et spørgsmål?
Det kan da godt være, at du ikke har haft en kæreste. Har du hvor mange kærester, har du haft?
Det ved jeg sgu ikke. 30 eller sådan noget, tror jeg. 25, deromkring, tror jeg. Ja, noget af den stil. Noget af den stil.
Wow, okay. Hvor gammel var det første gang, du havde en kæreste?
Altså, første gang sådan rigtigt, det var nok, da jeg var 11 eller sådan noget.
Hold kæft. Ja, selvfølgelig er det det. Masser af gange. Men det er sådan lidt, altså... Selvfølgelig, der er nogle gange, hvor der er, man har haft en kæreste, altså... Man er vild med hende, men man elsker hende sådan ikke. Altså, det er sgu ikke det rene kærlighed, altså det... Og så, ja, så til sidst, så går det bare ikke.
Lige når man har over den der lille forelskelsesperiode der, så skal de bare være bestemmertypen.
Ja. Det er ked af det der, men altså, sådan er det.
Så er det bare sådan, hvis man ikke skriver til med 3 timer, så du skriver fandme aldrig til mig. Det er altid mig, der kontakter dig.
Fremme person siger, fuck din kæreste, hun er bare verdens fedeste kælling eller andet sindssygt. Så er jeg nok gået over og panden ham hende. Det vil enhver mand have gjort. Sådan, i hvert fald sådan en by som Fredericia i hvert fald.
Hvad drømmer du om?
Komme til at bo i et stort fedt hus og have en fed bil og have mange penge, så man ikke behøver at kigge på prisen, hver gang man er ude og handle ind og sådan noget.
Skal der være noget i det der store hus der, udover dig?
Ja, der skal der være en dame og et barn, eller også bare et barn.
Det er nok det, jeg ser mest frem til, det er at få en familie. Jeg skal dø her i byen. Jeg skal sgu ikke dø et eller andet sted. Altså, jeg er født og opvokset her, så skal jeg blive ved med at bo her.
Teenage angst, I remember it well. And that's it for this week. If you have any comments, then please email us on everywoman@aljazeera.net. But for now, from all the team here, bye-bye.